What is this? A super progressive movie? Someone was telling me to react to this. Official trailer 2026, 134, 211. Pauline Hanson's Please Explain. I don't know what this is. Should I watch this one first?
Once upon a
excuse me. It's not in 4K. I'm not expecting good things here.
Once upon a time in so-called Australia, a culture war tore the nation apart. And somehow, the lefties won. And I should know, I'm the Prime Minister, Elbow.
I'm like so disassociated. Like, I'm bored by this. I'm so bored by this. The animation style is just so shitty.
This is my land.
It's very, very, like, lazy.
Good morning, fellow white straight males.
Like, is this a movie or, like, the new Naarm being posted on, like, fucking Twitter or something? Oh, God. Sorry, this is funny. Which country made this? Australia? Yeah, Canberra. I'm Australian! May this be shown in every cinema across the country. Lol. Well done, Pauline. Looking forward to seeing this. The fact that they banned the trailer in Parliament tells me everything I need to know about the state of the country right now. $10 well spent. Looking forward to this. Interesting. Should I fact check that? Can someone type for me?
Hey, big boy.
This is like a second-rate television show from 2005. What is this doing pretending to be a movie?
Just as the elders foretold, this is Naarm.
I'm gay and retarded, Your Honor. I'll allow it.
That's toxic positivity. I'm sorry. In case you haven't noticed, Pete, I'm black.
This is... I don't think people realize just how much virtue signaling there is in the world. You know? People act as though it's like a thing that is used to describe the people that they're caricaturing. But every single line literally just being like a treat for the given conservative audience. Like, am I right? Am I right? Like, this is all, it's literally just virtue signaling.
Daddy, I don't believe him.
You have to believe him, honey. He's 1/16th Aboriginal.
Like, literally every single line is just like Elon Musk making a tweet. Like, that's it. Is Elon Musk gonna make a cameo in this? And thank God for Elon Musk.
Wait, what if someone sees us?
Let the cookers watch.
Oh, man, you know, like, and these things you can criticize in a comedic way. You just have to remember to make a funny joke in there. Like, you just make it funny. Just make it funny. Stop laughing. It's not funny. All you have to do is make it funny. Like, come on. It's like, it's the reason why you see this type of thing, and especially in a way that fails so badly, is because these people think that it's literally like a Band-Aid you can use as in replace of actual joke writing. Making an observation that appeals to your political base, or a caricature that does, that's not a joke. That's just virtue signaling, and that's it. Like, woke people be crazy, am I right? That's not, and you do that for 2 minutes? Like, that's a joke? This is a trailer. The trailers show the best parts of the movie, especially in comedies. That's especially true for comedies. When you're trying to market a comedy, you usually show the best jokes to try and get people in. So you watch a trailer for a comedy, you're like, oof, that was the best it had to offer.
Wow, the rainbow serpent. Sounds like a really cool gay snake. It's not a gay snake!
I don't know what to... Who are you? Is this a politician? Response to controversy.
By One Nation leader Pauline Hanson. Pauline, great to see you. Now, I wanted to ask...
Jesus. This is the creative mind.
You your
uploading in 720p.
Response to the furore around your comments, which I've...
Did she direct the movie? What is this?
Talked about, but...
Or maybe she's just hosting it to appeal to her base.
Given my opinion of. But tell me, how have you responded to the furore this week about your questions about good Muslims versus bad Muslims?
I was hoping it would be about the movie.
I think the whole lot... Look, I admit the way I framed it and the way it came across. But I question, how do you know? Rowan, I think that we need to have this discussion where the country is headed, what do we expect for the future for our future generations. And I keep going back to other countries like England and France. Go and ask the people of Egypt or the Christian Lebanese or even Iran. How has it worked out for them? Not very well. You got protests now
how
in the
is
streets.
being Muslim worked out for... Okay, yeah. I was like, I thought she was going to be like, how has multiculturalism worked out for them? I feel like in Iran, my understanding, based on, I don't know, like attempting to expose myself to other ideas, and I'm not, a geopolitical analyst, right? I'm not a politician. I'm just a guy. I like movies, and a lot of the movies I like are indie foreign films. And because of that, I've seen a good chunk of Iranian films. There's, Iranian directors that express themselves in ways that really connect with me and, speak about deep, greater truths of the human experience and human psyche. And I would say, I think like most of my favorite Iranian directors are like facing criminal charges for their movies and have either fled Iran or like Jafar Panahi, like gonna attend the Oscars and then go back to Iran and then face jail time again for making a fucking movie, right? So assuming those people are also Muslim, I don't know if the determining factor is Muslim, right? I think extremism can show itself in many different ways. And it's not an invalid fear or concern to look at like places that have worse track records with human rights, anti-gay, etc., anti-women. It's not an invalid fear to be concerned about your own culture and not wanting it to turn into that. But as I say all the time, there is a nuance to it. It's not a black and white issue. And clearly, from my understanding, there's a good chunk of the Iranian population that does not agree with the Iranian government. There's a good chunk of the Iranian population that doesn't like, women having to be covered up, right? Different people exist. I'm assuming a lot of those people are Muslim because generally religion is like a cultural thing. So,
especially by women who are forced to wear the hijab or the burqa to cover up. And these women are being flogged, jailed, or even losing their life because they dare protest against Islam. Yes, you do have radical Islams. You have those people that are in the country. And it's been proven that we have these people, but I don't believe the vetting process we don't do enough of it. Eventually in time, my concern is we're losing our culture, our heritage, and in certain areas...
Losing our culture and heritage, I don't agree with that as like a concept. Like if it... There is a nuance to this. I'll say this again. I'm not just memeing. Like, you don't want to have completely open borders. You don't want to have like unchecked immigration without any kind of concern over whether or not the people coming into your country are going to be at odds culturally, morally, etc., with your own citizens, right? There should be like an actual process to it. Unfortunately, a lot of the types of people that say the same words as her and have stuff like this just hanging out are not looking for like a nuanced and reasonable approach, and are looking for a blanket solution, very aggressive sort of thing. Yeah.
Once they get into councils, they'll push their own beliefs. Sharia law is being practiced in this country, have no doubt about it.
The fact that you're prepared to raise these questions is the critical thing. And I would like to know what the response from the public has been to you, because I certainly believe we should be having these discussions. And, OK, you can say this word or this phrase or that phrase or whatever and get upset about it. But this is a country where we're supposed to have free speech. You should be able to ask questions, particularly questions surrounding the demographics, immigration and critical things. You had Angus Taylor saying we want to shut the door, but we haven't had any specifics. All you were saying was, well, we want to make sure we shut the door to certain people, certain views. What has been the reaction from the public? Because I've seen you in public and I know you get the opinions. They come up to you and they tell you exactly what they think. What's been the reaction this week?
Overwhelming support from the public who back me all the way. For Angus Taylor, motherhood statements, and we're going to actually Australian values and all the rest of it. Well, tell us what they are, Angus. What are your Australian values? And I'm sick of these politicians trying to appease all these groups. The same as Labor is trying to appease them, because three of your main seats, Claire, Burke and also Bowen, are heavily dominated by Muslims. Of course they're going to do everything to appease them. And that's not the way this country should be running. And I just fear for the future generations if we keep heading down this path. And I keep saying it, go back to have a look at England. I had a fella pull me up in the shopping the other day and he said, I'm from England. Go for it, Pauline. He said, do not let Australia become like England.
Is England under Sharia law right now? Like, I understand France has some problems with like Muslim extremism for sure. I don't know the degree to which it's an issue in the UK. I'm sure it's an issue that exists. I'm kind of wondering how it compares to like far right Christian nationalist extremism, but hold on. Cause yeah, I was just kind of curious with her using the UK as an example. I was just looking up like statistics of percentage of Muslims in a population and the UK versus Canada. Like it might just be that if there's like a big issue in the UK, which I don't know if there is, but leave it open to interpretation, I guess. Then I would wonder why it's more of an issue in the UK and not Canada, because like in the UK, seeming like about 6 to 6.5% of the population's Muslim. In Canada, it's about 5%. So like the numbers don't seem that far off. And I'd imagine like, me being in Vancouver, I'd imagine I'm living in one of the more densely populated areas for Muslims. Like, a bunch of people, different jobs I had when I was working at Best Buy, like I was working with Muslim people, like I would always know when it was Ramadan because they would complain that they can't eat. You can't eat food. I don't think they were trying to impose Sharia law on me, but I guess I don't know for sure. Thanks, Cat Magic. Again, yeah, it's not an unreasonable fear, but you should just try to your best to keep yourself in check in a way where like your concern can match an appropriate response, and a response can involve like increased checks and balances rather than like discrimination or hatred or like weird nationalist shit. Yeah, it is fucking weird when you have, you're absolutely right, when you have people in the last few months make content and like unequivocally scoff at the idea of white nationalism in America. Ha ha ha, as if it's like not a real thing. Like the idea of even thinking that it exists is laughable. That's crazy that those people exist. That's fucking insane. Well, this trailer's different. Sorry, I'm looking at this again. Once upon a time in a so-called Australia. What is Naarm? Oh, is it like the native? Oh no. They're replacing statues of a slave owner with a statue of a different person. I don't know what Australia's history is. Oh, is that no straight sex allowed? No to heteros? Yeah, that's a totally real sign that you see at like LGBT events and pride parades and spaces. That's a totally real sign. No man on women.
For not laughing at a woman's very funny joke, the defendant is charged with misogyny in the first degree.
What a biting satire.
He is a white, straight, cisgendered male. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Well, I've heard enough.
I sentence the defendant to death.
It's like someone trying to make Idiocracy, but it's just like everyone's woke.
Oh, black and wise one, please tell us what to do.
Just as the elders foretold. This is Naarm. We're all in grave danger. Without our virtue signal, this is no longer.
This is virtue signaling, though. This entire all you're doing with this pretend movie is virtue signaling. You can't criticize virtue signaling by virtue signaling. You have to have some self-awareness.
Safe space.
Apparently not.
These are me good thongs, you dog.
You speak of the prophecy.
The chosen one who'll venture out into the real world and reclaim the victimhood from its ancient resting place and wield its awesome power and save the world from the oppressive colonizers to become the coolest, wokest, most compassionate person ever.
I'll do it. I'll accept the call to adventure.
Oh my god, that's so cringe.
All my life I've tried to be progressive. I've grown up believing that I'm too privileged to be treated equally, and that I deserve to be enslaved and beaten up and shat on every day. I'm starting to think that maybe this isn't a progressive paradise after all. But what would I know? I'm just a dumb white guy. My opinion doesn't matter. Kill me!
I'm like, I zoned out. I wasn't even paying attention in the past like fucking 20 seconds. I'm like literally thinking of other things. Like, this is just so fucking boring. Holy shit, this is embarrassing. It's not even like fun to make fun of. It's just like watching this is like as if I'm supposed to be impressed by the reciting of the alphabet. Like, duh. Wow, it's so crazy when D came after C. Like, I literally tuned out. Like, it's like, why don't you smell the inside of your own nose? Because you're just used to it. Your brain ignores the same information over and over again when you're acclimatized to it, right? Like, It's so boring.
Get in.
Boring. Okay, that was just such a waste of time. Sorry. Pauline Hanson's Please Explain. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, unless you're an Australian, you wouldn't know what any of that is. Even the name itself, Pauline Hanson, Please Explain, would be baffling, I would assume. It's basically a meme related to Pauline Hanson that, like, she's kind of embraced at this point as a form of marketing. There's a famous clip of Pauline Hanson from, like, her, I think it was the 90s or early 2000s, during, like, her initial time in Parliament, or when she was running for Parliament, I forget. But she's being interviewed and they're, like, asking her about stuff related to multiculturalism. She just does not understand what they're talking about, so she goes like, please explain. Please explain. She said it in such, like, a bogan kind of, like, dumb way that the news media turned it into, like, a punching bag. Like, it was kind of a meme before memes were a thing. Here we go.
Are you xenophobic? Please explain.
Oh, that was it. She didn't know what the word xenophobic meant. Yeah, that's right. So, like, she was being interviewed by a journalist, and she asked her if she's xenophobic. And just to clarify for, again, anybody who is not familiar with Australian politics, Pauline Hanson's whole thing is that she's racist. Her platform is basically an attempt to revive the White Australia policy, which was an immigration policy that Australia had in the past, where only white immigrants were allowed to, migrate to our country and become citizens. It's looked back on as a shameful piece of our racist past. But in the 90s, she attempted to revive it because she was afraid of all the Asians that were immigrating to Australia. Then she ended up going to jail for a bit. She got out and then ran for office again and actually succeeded and created her own political party called One Nation. They're basically kind of like Australia's Reform Party, or UKIP, if you're British. And they pretty much have the same goals as Pauline Hanson had in the 90s, except because at this point, like, Asians have been a large part of our, like, population for a very long time, and they're extremely integrated into Australian culture. She shifted her target to Muslims. She decided that, actually, the Asians are fine. Let in as many Asians as you want. But the new scapegoat, because this was a post-9/11 world, the new scapegoat for her was Muslims. And since then, she's maintained a very strong, like, Islamophobic bent to her politics. She's always, like, dressing up in a burqa and, like, showing up to Parliament in an attempt to make some weird racist point about, like, Islam oppressing women. But yeah, she's one of Australia's, like, greatest living embarrassments. And yeah, this is kind of like a really famous clip of her that became a meme in the 90s, where she did not know what the word xenophobic meant. So she just kept going, please explain. Because yeah, there's, like, a longer interview where she's so fucking dumb. But she's just kind of like an all-purpose racist, too. She hates Indigenous Australians as well, if I remember correctly. Aren't there a few Muslim MPs in Australian Parliament wearing normal hijabs? Like, doesn't that just prove her entire argument? There are, Maracas, yes. So, like, the whole thing is just profoundly, like, racist performance that she's putting on. It's deeply insulting.
What else? But the whole fact is, right from the very beginning, why I got into politics and why I got elected to the seat of Oxley, because I called for equality for all Australians. That means that no one should get assistance or help based on their cultural background. It should be based on individual needs-based.
Yeah, her pitch is literally, these Indigenous Australians have had it too good for too long. Like, are you fucking joking? We've destroyed their culture, and the government does, like, nothing to help Aboriginal Australians. We couldn't even vote to give them a fucking voice in Parliament.
We are going to be more divisive as the time goes, and I see people that have jumped onto the bandwagon, the Aboriginal industry, to milk it for what it's worth.
The Aboriginal industry, yeah, big Aboriginal has been taking the Australian taxpayer for a ride. The Aboriginal industry. You've got to be fucking joking. Since becoming like a powerful figure again in Australian politics, Pauline Hanson also created an animated cartoon series. It's only aired on YouTube. It's not on any TV network or anything. It's just on her YouTube channel that she called Pauline Hanson's Please Explain. Because at this point, like, she uses the please explain thing as marketing because it's become like a recognizable brand in this country. And the whole cartoon is just her really, like, grotesquely shitting on pretty much anyone she views as her ideological enemy, while portraying herself as just the coolest, most badass chick in all of Australia. Here's a video of her, like, shitting on Robert Irwin, who's Steve Irwin's son, who, like, I'm sure you can, assume... He, like, Australia loves Robert Irwin, like Bob, like, we call him Bob because that's what they called him when he was, like, a little kid, like baby Bob. You know, Australia deeply mourned the loss of Steve Irwin. So basically, like, the Irwin family are protected. Like, nobody, like, makes fun of them or goes after them because everyone thinks Steve Irwin's death is really tragic and everybody feels really bad for, like, his family. She's the only person I've seen with the gall to go like, no, I'm gonna shit all over him and call him gay. Robert Owen is Chad? Yeah.
Hey,
no, Robert Owen's great.
Robert Owen again. You know, after I did that Queensland... Yeah, g'day, it's me, Robert Owen.
I guess because he's woke or whatever, so she decided he needed to be taken down a peg.
And somehow, the lefties won.
And I should know. I'm the Prime Minister.
Yeah, I pointed this out before, but something that's, like, funny about just how petty this cartoon is and how juvenile is that, like, the way they draw characters in it is to make them look so deformed and ugly that you can't even recognize the person that it's meant to be parodying. Like, this is our current Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. Here, let me show you what he actually looks like. It's also really funny that she's shitting on anyone's performance when she looks like a withered old hag. But yeah, it's like, Anthony Albanese looks fucking nothing like that. It's so inaccurate, you can barely even tell that it's him. You know? It's so absurd. Like, it's gone way past the point of caricature, where it's just like, that's not even the same human.
It's the fact that they banned the trailer in Parliament tells me everything I need to know about the state of the country right now. $10 well spent. Looking forward to this.
I love they say that. Like, the fact they banned it in Parliament... I'm sorry, how is that not a completely... Like, no, Pauline, we're not going to screen the trailer for your racist, transphobic, like, homophobia movie. Why the fuck would we play the trailer for your shitty movie in Parliament? We're here to, like, discuss government legislation. Why the fuck would we, like, screen your shitty movie in Parliament? But of course these dipshits are going, oh, they banned it. Oh, it tells you everything you need to know about the state of the country. Nanny state. Literally 1984. Yeah, just blowing up Ayers Rock, the sacred religious site important to Aboriginal Australians. and like a beloved national landmark. Very classy. Yeah, I love how she makes Anthony Albanese look like a deformed goblin man. But then the way she depicts herself is, like, so flattering in comparison. Yeah, this is how she depicts herself in the movie. Oh, look, she's so prime ministerial with her sunglasses and her power suit. And then she depicts Anthony Albanese as, like, a deformed goblin man.
In case you haven't noticed, Pete, I'm black.
I don't know why they're bringing that. That's a weird thing to make a joke about as well, where, like, this is, I presume, alluding to the fact that there are people who have Indigenous Australian heritage who are fairly, like, light-skinned and kind of look closer to white people. But the reason for that is because of a thing called the Stolen Generation, which was a horrific period in Australia's history where the government decided that the way to solve the whole Aboriginal problem was to effectively breed them out of existence. So what they did was the government went into the homes of all of these Aboriginal families and they stole their newborn children, and then they took those children and they placed them in white families for the white families to raise. And the idea was supposed to be that this would civilize them, and then they would, like, intermarry with the white people, and in a few generations, the Aborigines would be completely erased. It's like a horrific and shameful part of our racist colonial history. And it's always fucked to me that people want to make jokes. It's like, yeah, no shit, he's, like, white and Aboriginal. Because, like, his fucking parents were stolen from, like, their family as infants and then forcibly, like, put in these other families. Like, what do you mean?
Wow, the rainbow serpent. Sounds like a really cool gay snake.
It's not a gay snake.
Yeah, see, exactly. Like, it's not even a joke. It's just like, yeah, we also think Aboriginal mythology is dumb, which is so weird because most Australians, even if they're not terribly pro, like, Indigenous Australian rights, they'll at least have some appreciation for the iconography of Aboriginal, like, art and myth because, you know, it's, like, part of our national culture and heritage. Even if you are white even if you are white Australian, most people still think the rainbow serpent is cool because it's just it's like a part of our unique national history.
Is this a politician?
Yes, she is. She's a quite prominent one.
Questions about
Sky News, by the way, is Australian Fox News, just for point of clarification. It's also owned by the Murdochs, and it pretty much functions similarly to the way Fox News does in America, although thankfully it has much, much less cultural influence than Fox News does.
Muslims versus bad Muslims.
I was hoping it would be about the movie.
Yeah, see, Adam has no idea. No, Adam. Pauline Hanson gets into, like, racist controversies 3 times a month. I'm sure she's had 10 more fucked up things that she's done. I mean, quite literally, didn't she, like, do something? She was, like, calling an Aboriginal senator a bitch or something. Hold on. Let me find this. Like, she did that this week. Yeah. Like, she was literally calling an Aboriginal senator a fucking bitch, like, a day ago. Yeah, this is what I mean, where I'm like, no, Adam. Like, she gets into publicly offensive controversies multiple times a month.
She just called me a bitch.
Senator Thorpe, do you have a point of order?
I do. I just got called a bitch by the racist.
And yeah, that's why I was just like, no, Adam. She gets into so many controversies. That happened a day ago. That happened yesterday. I just got called a bitch by the racist is such a crazy thing for a politician to say. Yeah. No, it's fucking weird. Like, she's always doing batshit stuff like that in Parliament. It's very odd. It's very like I said, most Australians are like kind of deeply embarrassed that Pauline Hanson is still in Parliament and we can't do anything to get rid of her. Like, it's she's a fucking maniac.
What is Naarm?
Naarm.
I'm looking at this again. Once upon a time in a so-called Australia.
So I'm not sure if Naarm is a real thing. I don't think so. It might have just been something that that Pauline Hanson made up to mock Aboriginal people. What this is referring to is that in, the last, let's say, 20 years or so, there has been a push in Australia to start recognizing, like, Aboriginal culture more, and part of that has been like acknowledging the Aboriginal names for like various places in Australia and things like that. It's not a terribly widespread phenomenon, definitely dependent on where you are in Australia. Like, if you're in Queensland, you're never going to hear fucking anyone talking about that kind of thing. I live in Melbourne, the woke Australian city, like the wokest one. And whenever I go out to like a public event or even like one of the MIF like free movie screenings that I go to once a month, they will literally always like start the presentation by going like, and I'd like to take a moment to pay acknowledgements and respect to the native Wurundjeri people of, the such and such area. Like, this is just making fun of that. I don't know if Naarm is an actual Aboriginal term for like Melbourne or Victoria, or if that's just like a silly, like, you know what I mean? Like, this might just be a silly, made-up, fake Aboriginal name that Pauline Hanson made to try and mock them. I'm not entirely sure. I've never heard Naarm before, so that's why I'm a little bit suspicious of it. Yeah, I'm assuming this statue is probably meant to be Captain Cook, who was the British explorer who discovered Australia, kind of like an Australian Columbus, I suppose. He kind of has a similarly divisive position in Australian history to Columbus in America, where like he's celebrated as an important historical figure and, the discoverer of Australia. But people also acknowledge that he was kind of ended up being responsible, even if indirectly, for a lot of pain and suffering for the native peoples of Australia. So basically think Aussie Columbus. Yeah, so this is clearly Robert Irwin, Steve Irwin's son. I don't know why, but he's become kind of a punching bag for Pauline Hanson. I think it's because she did like a cartoon making fun of him, the one we watched earlier in stream with Bluey, and like everyone was very offended by that because we were all just like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what did Robert Irwin do to you, you miserable old bitch? Like, all he's done is, like, suffer a tragic loss as a child and then grow up to be a really awesome guy and a really, like, nice, decent human being. Why the fuck would you go... Like, people were generally disgusted by it. But it did get a big, like, it did get a big media reaction because it got reported on that she was, like, picking a fight with Bob Irwin. So I'm assuming that she probably just decided to turn him into a punching bag because she realized that it gets clicks, it gets views to keep trotting his name out, against his will. He's just too awesome for her. Yeah, well, he's like woke, I guess, and so she's mad about that. There are several other prominent Australian politicians I notice in here. So the guy down the bottom here, this guy, that is former opposition leader and former, like, border czar and Australia's top cop, Peter Dutton, a man who I've written about extensively. He kind of looks in real life like a cross between Voldemort and a potato. There's really no other way to describe how he looks. He's a former cop turned border patrol guard, and then eventually ended up becoming basically like the leader of like Australia's Homeland Security. And then he was the opposition leader briefly, but he got absolutely obliterated by Anthony Albanese during the last election. He lost so hard, he literally lost his own seat. So like he had to step down as leader of the party and literally wasn't even a member of parliament anymore. Everybody fucking hated him. Friendly Geordies told me to hate this guy. Yeah, no, he's awful. He's awful. Like, definitely, I'm really glad he never got to be Prime Minister. He would have been, like, shocking. Like, genuinely, I mean, here's this great picture of him that kind of captures the darkness in his heart. This is a famous picture of him from, like, a press conference where the lights malfunctioned. And someone took this picture of him looking like a fucking sleep paralysis demon. But yeah, that's Peter Dutton. That, I think, is former Prime Minister and current ambassador to the US, Kevin Rudd. I believe that's meant to be Kevin Rudd. He was Prime Minister for a period in like the late 2000s to the early 2010s. He's not balding, which is kind of confusing me a little bit. But I, from what I can tell, I think this movie is meant to be set in the future. Like, after Australia has gone fully woke, we've been fully consumed by the woke mind virus. I think that's meant to, again, part of the problem is, like, the art style is so unflattering and ugly that it can make it hard to tell, like, who's who. But I definitely recognize that looks a lot like Kevin Rudd. Hold on, let me see if I can recognize any other characters.
Hey, big boy.
In this one. Is that supposed to be like Holly Valance? Hold on, because there was like another video for that. It was like down here. Yeah, Holly Valance, Kiss My Ass. Mwah. Oh, this is actually performed by Holly Valance. Okay. I don't even know what to make of this. Okay, well... Apparently, that's meant to be this woman. Apparently, that's meant to be Holly Valance, who's like an Australian pop star. Well, not really anymore. Like, nobody gives a fuck anymore. But she's like... Is she even... I forget. Was she Australian? Yeah, she is Australian. I guess she's also like a right-wing commentator now. Fucking weird.
I'm starting to think that maybe this isn't a progressive paradise after all. But what would I know? I'm just a dumb white guy. My opinion doesn't matter. Kill me!
Like, it's so dumb. This is so absurd. Like, yeah, you really got him. This totally this happens every day. Stadiums full of woke people cry out for the execution of Robert Irwin. The streets must run red with his blood. Like, what? This is so stupid. It's this completely made-up scenario that Pauline Hanson has frightened herself with in her head. This might be a random woke woman. This might also potentially be the American pop star Pink, because Australians are like weirdly obsessed with Pink. They love her. I've talked about this on stream before. Australians fucking love Pink, and none of them can like see it from the outside. How weird that is.
Hey everybody, it's March of 2026, so here are my $5 and up patrons. Dizzy Sauce Rumsfeld and Letterbox, Jordan A, Toby White, Blank, Archeolix, Clarice Carlson, Cypress, Emil, Gabriel Herrera, Gezro, Happy the Knife, Lemonade Warriors, participating in the hit game Among Us, is considered the Encroacher, Lobsterite, Modern Nerd, Nurk, Ben Osmond, Residual Cheese. Roxy is no longer inside your walls because she has learned the second season of the TED TV series will be released March 5th. Saliv88, Skanot On, Tammy, the bad gamer named Electrica finally gets a PC, the Flying Marlin, the Super 1 player, T-King, Yup, and Zachary Kane. Thank you for watching as always. I'll see you next time, and also, fuck ICE!